Welcome to the Critical Thinking Literacy Channel's series on patterns of personality. I'm John Balla. In Part 2, we conclude our case study of Vladimir Putin's personality profile by introducing two additional lenses: Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs and the Big Five ocean scale. Both build on the frameworks from Part 1, namely the models of Erich Fromm and Daniel Kahneman. But this time we're going to do something different. We're not just profiling Putin. We're going to use the profile to ask a harder question. What does it predict? Let's get into it. Here is the central claim of this episode. The strongman persona isn't a strategy. It's a confession. It's a leader telling you he's more comfortable running on System 1, feelings over facts, and hoping you don't notice. Putin performs strength the way an actor performs a role. The role restores Russian manhood after what he perceives as a national humiliation from the fall of the Soviet Union. But performance is not governance, and the persona tells us something important about which cognitive system is actually running the show. Alexander George's operational code identifies Putin's core beliefs. Philosophically, he sees a jungle world where the other is an inherent enemy. Instrumentally, he favors power vacuums and coercive force over genuine cooperation. Bridging the two is his leadership structure, where he is the only fixed point in a generally closed system, a system designed to restrict the flow of information to that which aligns with his beliefs. This is System 1 architecture, dressed up as strategy. And here is the evidence. Putin proved he can run System 2. He spent years quietly building hundreds of billions in reserves to survive the exact sanctions he knew the Ukraine invasion would trigger. That is disciplined, long-horizon analytical planning. Then he invaded on impulse. The 2022 campaign was a System 1 failure, driven by hubris and the representativeness heuristic, judging the risks based on his 2014 successes, blinded by a narrative of historical destiny. Same man, same war. Both operating systems available to him, and he reserved the careful one for the bank account, not the bodies. Modern Big Five analysis reveals Putin as a dominant introvert with exceptionally high conscientiousness and emotional stability. However, his very low agreeableness reflects a fundamental rejection of empathic understanding. That low agreeableness isn't a flaw in the profile. It's consistent with the confession. System 2 requires the capacity to model other minds, to see the situation from your adversary's perspective. A leader who scores near zero on agreeableness has structurally opted out of that process. To manage the anxiety that comes with operating in System 1, Putin surrounds himself with loyal sycophants. This creates an echo chamber where reality-based feedback is suppressed, reinforcing perception failures and isolating the leader. There is a conspicuous parallel with Donald Trump here, as both leaders live in a self-induced, closed system. But their personalities vary drastically on other scales and measures. That is a subject for another episode. If you would like me to create a heads-to-heads personality and behavioral patterns analysis, let me know in the comments below. From a humanistic perspective, Putin is stuck at the levels of safety and status. Driven by deficit motives to compensate for historical humiliation, he pursues the actualization of power rather than universal human growth. Maslow would tell us that a leader operating from deficit is a leader incapable of the self-reflection that characterizes higher-order functioning. That's not a moral judgment. It's a structural one. The strongman persona keeps him anchored exactly where he is. Neurologically, this manifests as a lack of emotional mirroring, reinforcing cognitive inflexibility. Any compromise is perceived as a narcissistic injury, making traditional negotiation nearly impossible. These patterns are starkly evident in the invasion of Ukraine. The campaign itself is a textbook case of the planning fallacy, and the contradiction we identified, meticulous financial preparation alongside impulsive military execution, runs through every phase of the war. His ongoing strikes on civilian infrastructure yield no military advantage. They have only forged a harder Ukrainian resolve. In a purely strategic context, these actions are irrational, but they are entirely consistent with a leader running on System 1, where the performance of strength matters more than its outcomes. Which brings us to the question this profile can actually answer. Right now, the dominant narrative is about whether negotiations can end this war. But if you followed the analysis, you already know the problem. For Putin to negotiate seriously, he would have to contradict everything the strongman persona is built on. He would have to engage in self-reflection, empathy, and compromise, the very qualities his identity treats as weakness. That would be an extraordinary change in behavior, one that runs counter to every framework we've applied. So what does the profile predict? That this war is more likely to end through a coup, a military defeat, or both at once, than through any negotiated settlement. Putin's personality structure makes the diplomatic path the least probable one. But here's what I want you to take from this beyond Putin. The next time a political leader or anyone, actually including you, tries to depict strength, ask yourself a question. Which system are they running? Is it System 1 in the realm of feelings, impulses, and archetypes? Or is it System 2 in the realm of analytical thinking, complex planning, empathy, and decision-making? And this is key. Is System 1 performance covering for the absence of System 2? That's not a partisan question. It's a diagnostic one. And once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. To simplify it further, is the behavior driven by feelings, System 1, or by facts, System 2? That's why we're here. No ideology, no dogma, no hidden agenda, no price tag. Just a response to a nagging question about how we could do more when our country needs us most. It's an inconvenient fact that democracies run on arguments, both good and bad. And right now, arguments that are long on anger, resentment, and outrage, and short on facts, evidence, and data are winning. And the score isn't even close. So if you want to cast your vote for a democracy that runs on good arguments, subscribe, like, and share. In that spirit, vote early and vote often. Until next time, I'm John Balla, reminding you to think critically and choose wisely. Your future self will thank you.